What's up, everybody? Rad Picker. I'm outside today, just outside the Rad Cave, trying to clean up the remnants of this yard sale. You'll be able to see a little bit all this junk, just not junk actually, but you know, stuff left over. I need to do a whatnot show. I've kind of decided, I think, you know, I always change my mind, so you got to take that with a grain of salt, to possibly just do a whatnot live just like this, hammer down through these clothes, and the ones that sell, the ones that don't, I'll put aside, either donate or list. I have a lot to list. I have decided I hate clothes. I am no longer chasing clothing. The only exceptions to that up to this point will be, one, go to the bins, get a bunch, and specifically source for a whatnot show or a live clothing show and deal with that, and then donate what's, you know, not sold and or list it, but keep it small and compact. I have a mess. I have too much stuff. And I mentioned in my last video that I really wanted to go to the 127 sale. I had a yard sale myself and I stayed busy, and after I was just too tired. But as I was going through my 3 storage buildings and my shed out back and the Rad Cave, I realized my death pile is a lot bigger than I thought it was. So it's foolish for me to continue to source unless I'm specifically sourcing for a live show. eBay stuff, I have enough stuff right now. So I've committed. I'm not the most disciplined guy when it comes to numbers or even, you know, health or whatever. I am a fly by the seat of my pants type of guy, but I decided that I'm going to get extremely committed to not buying anything else until I list everything I have. And this is in the hundreds of items. I realize just tinkering around, stuff by my feet. If you've ever watched me live, you can hear me grumbling and moaning about stuff under my feet. Some of the stuff I've held back for live shows, or I bought and I've run it, you know, several live shows, hasn't sold. I'm listing this stuff. My eBay store is good. For me, again, for those of you that don't know, I'm just over a year. I'm a newbie. You know, I don't do these numbers these guys, these big timers do, but my store is doing good for me, and I know with just this much effort I can really take it to the next level. So with that being said, I did want to show you a few things that sold over the weekend, and some of these I put in my shorts on TikTok and even on YouTube, so you may have seen them, but if not, I just want to show you some of the things that sold. These water shoes, I bought these at a yard sale for $1. He probably had 50 pairs. I was hoping he had a size 12, that's what I wear, but he had 10s and 8s. And I bought, I don't know, maybe a dozen pair. I've sold a couple live for a few bucks. These went for $19 and some odd cents. I don't have my notes in front of me, so bear with me on that. I did sell, give me 1 second here. I'm back. Don't go anywhere. Everybody left the video. I got my little notes. I'm getting more and more professional, but I did want to give you exact numbers. Also, this sold. I bought this from Jimmy Old School Flips. That is a Bart Simpson. What is it? Is that Bart or Homer with the wig on? It says Old School. I think that is actually, would that be Homer throwback with the hair on? But I bought that live off Jimmy Old School Flips, and that sold for $15.58 on eBay. I had purchased this Dallas Cowboys helmet at a thrift store in Florida when we were on vacation just outside of Pensacola, and I took off on vacation, went to a thrift store. I bought this for a few bucks. It finally sold. I had it listed really high. I brought it back down, but $37.49 on the bay. So that was a good buy. One thing I always purchase when I talk about littles, any sort of filter, especially sealed, if you can find any GE refrigerator or any sort of home filter, pool filters, it doesn't matter. Any sort of sealed filter I pick up. I really like refrigerator filters, but this is a whole home filter. I don't. This is yeah, reduces sediment and sand. This must be for hard water, but that filter sold for $15.58 plus shipping. I've had this hat for a while. I bought this live off a Dibbed It hat show. That is platinum leather, and I had it really high for a while. It finally sold. Probably been, I'm guessing, early spring is when I bought this. But this Batman hat finally sold on the Bay for $24.37 plus shipping. Good purchase. This one up next, my friends. This is a pretty cool little piece. This is a solar powered bird feeder. Check it out. Pretty cool. It's an old RV, solar powered on top. This little bird feeder I bought off A-Stock. That's the Amazon website. I probably got that for $1, maybe $2, and I sold that Happy Camper bird feeder for $23.47 plus shipping. Great buys. I love the A-Stock store. It is great sourcing. I sold, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, a set of 6 of these cobalt glasses. These are, oh, check it out. Can I see on the bottom? Can't see in the shade. I was going to tell you what brand here. Oh gosh. Made in Brazil. They are the, anyway, made in Brazil. I can't read that. I did have that in my listing, but I can't remember what it was. Made in Brazil. Hey. Centro or whatever. I don't know. Is that in Latin or Spanish? I'm sure it's Spanish. Anyways, that set of 6 cobalt glasses that I don't even know what they are sold for, where are we at? $29.60 plus shipping. So 6 glasses, pretty good sell there. Sale. Up next, one of my favorites to sell. This is a Sony. What is this one? This is the CDP CE375 5 CD disc changer, and I sold that for, where are we at here? $43.27 plus shipping. I did notice, that's one of the things I found in my sheds, is I have some that aren't listed. I have some Onkyo and 2 or 3 Sonys that haven't been listed that have been sitting in one of my storage units. So I need to get busy listing. I've said this before and quite often, that lately my eBay store has been doing good for me. I am somewhere, I think my store right now is 825 sales or something. I started that store a few months after I started eBay last June. I had an account for years and years. I used that for a couple months. I'm not sure exactly what month, maybe August, that I actually got a store. So I'm gonna guess 1,000 sales or so. So that's all I have for an entire year up to this point. But you got to take into account that during the entire fall and winter, I was working my old career, a cabin build out down the road, and I wasn't listing, doing anything on eBay other than buying. And for months, I may have sold 2 or 3 items. So for, I mean, the entire fourth quarter where I should have been rocking and rolling, I wasn't doing anything. So that being said, you can subtract a couple months out of this year for sure. But as a 1 year in newbie reseller, you know, somewhere around 1,000 sales, and could easily been 50% to 100% more of that, and probably a lot more if I was really serious about it for the entire year like I am now. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're new, looking to get into reselling either part-time or full-time, that there's so many different ways to do it. I certainly take a little bits and pieces of everyone that I watch, and certainly am stubborn and continue to do it my way a lot of times. So take that for what it's worth, but I just wanted to give you a realistic idea of what a newbie that's, you know, I was part-time and I've been full-time since probably March or April. I finished up that project and I have been full-time. Now, mind you, I sell on Facebook Marketplace a lot of stuff. I just had a lady pull off with an extension ladder. I had probably 2 really good ones with extendable legs, and I don't need all those. I've got plenty of ladders, so I listed those on Marketplace and they went like hotcakes. I've made several $100s off those. I sold my Harley saddlebags at my yard sale for $75. Could have got a lot more if I waited them out, but I bought those last August. I hadn't even listed them until a month ago, and they were valuable Harley Davidson leather with the silver studs they go for $130 a piece on the bay, but mine had I wouldn't call them crushed because you can't really crush them, but you know, the outside leather had it'd be like a hat, you know, it kind of looks crushed, and you can bring it back. It's not crushed for good, but that's what it was like. So I didn't want to spend any more time on them. I took the deal. I bought them for 20 bucks. So at my yard sale, I sold all kinds of stuff like that. But just even sitting here, the most important thing I sold just yesterday, Saturday night, you know, just before midnight, I got a sale. These, I've talked about these a lot. These 100-mile-an-hour suits, complete with the bibs. These are, I'm going to give you a rough idea. The bibs sell for like $350, $375 new in the store. The jacket's like $275. So that's easily $600 in a suit. I sold that one, and I sold my 3XL. I woke up right before church Sunday morning to a $275 sale. So the 3XL went for $220, and the 1X went for $275. I have $40 invested. So that was a great flip, great Sunday morning to wake up to, you know, 2 giant sales, $500, you know, while you're sleeping is nothing to shake a stick at. I don't care who you are. So one of the better weekends I've had in sales since I've even started. So that was exciting. Kind of gets me fired up, makes me want to go source some more, because if I wasn't out sourcing, I bought those at a yard sale here maybe a month ago. My memory's not great. I made a video the day I got them, kind of joking about if those were good or not. They were good, folks. I can tell you that. The other big thing, and I'm going to stay away from this stuff, but this was the second one I had. And let me move my little tripod here. I'm actually going to, there'll be no editing here, folks. If you know me at all, I just run with it. But check out this billiards light. This billiards light with some holes in it from Pew Pews. I'm going to say 22. That's been sitting around a while. I bought that thing for $60 on Marketplace. I listed it because there was one on eBay that was like $1,200. So I've listed it for like $600. I'd never listed it on Marketplace, I don't think, up until a week or so ago. But finally, I took an offer on the bay for $100. Plus, I'll make 20 bucks on the shipping side. So it's a good flip. Well, it's okay. I wouldn't do it again. It's just been sitting on my front porch with a bunch of other stuff. So not real thrilled about doing that again. So the bigger stuff like that, I think I'm going to try to avoid and I don't even know if I'd even call that good. It just, you know, 60 bucks, you make a little profit, but take all that time and it's sitting around, store it. If you have the room for it, no big deal, but I really didn't. So, well, it wasn't eating anything, but like I said, not the greatest flip, but I got to ship that thing today. All that stuff's got to go today. And I do have a couple whatnot sales. I ran a random show the other night, just a pop-up. Pop-ups on whatnot are not like they are or were on District because of my following. Now I'm gaining followers every show I do, but I'm just doing pop-ups, and on Whatnot, if you don't have a following, pop-ups are going to be tough. I'm not going to tell you the secret that I think I've figured out. I'll let you know here down the road, but this, I will allude to it with the fact when I said I'm not going to do like t-shirts and stuff. Now I will still buy bangers, but I am not going to just buy stuff to buy and just load up on clothing again, unless it's specific for a show, a live show. But I just think it's saturated. Whatnot is saturated with t-shirt bros and all that, and the prices these things are going for, I mean, if you're not shopping at the bins, you don't stand a chance. I know that's not the case for everybody. Established people, I notice, are selling stuff for substantially more, but there's a couple markets that I saw that I had never dreamed about, things I would never have bought, and that's where I'm going to go. And it won't be a secret for long, because I'll have shows and hopefully people be following, talking about it and all that good stuff. But that being said, I still have a bunch of killer stuff here. I bought this live from Kevin, the Commonwealth picker and flipper. I still have not sold that. No wonder he sold it live. All jokes aside, folks, that will sell, but not the greatest thing ever. My daughter had brought these out the other day at the yard sale. Who doesn't want purple pleather pants? I got all sorts of stuff standing behind me. Shout out to my Tigers. You know, Detroit is where we live. If that fit me, that would be mine. Oh, another sale I did not show you. This bad boy is a dog kennel, 40 inches high. Got that off A stock for, I'm gonna say, somewhere between $10 and $20. Sold it for $72.47 plus shipping. I did have this at my yard sale for 75 bucks. No one even looked at it. The tough part about buying A stock stuff is it being in boxes. It's hard to take pictures of unless you have a place where you can set it up and take the picture, or use the stock photographs. For me, it's difficult where I'm at and how I'm operating. I'll show you a second. The Rad Cave, for those of you that don't know, it's like a 1-car garage, maybe 1.5. In this house we rent until we can build. So my space is not what it was at my old house, where I had 5 acres, a full basement, and all the room in the world to do what I want. Now, that brings up a good point. Always be appreciative of what you have, because when you don't have it, wow, it's wild. I never took advantage of that space, but now I would love to have it. Over against this tree back there, if you can see, leaning against that tree, is a 5-foot glass shower door. I picked that up off A stock for $131. They sell brand new for $1,500. Again, this is one of those things I have not listed. That's on my goal today and tomorrow. I got my tent up here because they're calling for rain, and I am going to try to get that out of the box, and I hate to do that because putting it back together in the box is horrible. But I need to get that out, take some good pictures. I could just use the stock photos, but I want to see if everything's in there, and I would let that go. I had it for sale for $450 at my yard sale. I will put it on Marketplace for probably $600 or $700 and try to get a sale. But again, if I get $300 or $400, I will be thrilled to triple up my money, you know, somewhere around triple. It would be great. But that's it for my yard sale mess. Showed you the mess, what I've got to clean up. Everything in my yard sale that didn't sell, that I don't want to just throw out or donate, I am going to clean this week and get them listed. That's what I'm doing. I'm listing everything. It's going to take me more than this week. That's what I realized. So why in the world I would be foolish to go source more when I've got all this here? I mean, that's a Snap-on paint sprayer over there. sitting on the table. What direction am I going? Right there. A snap-on paint sprayer for cars that just needs to be degreased and cleaned up and listed. I mean, that's a over $100 item. I've got stuff like that all over the place. I've got a Titan sprayer laying over here on the ground. It's a cordless sprayer that's worth a couple $100. It needs cleaning though, and I'm gonna get that cleaned up, and that is my goal this week. Got a Milwaukee pole saw over here. I'm debating listing that on Marketplace because I don't really need it here. I see a couple branches I could cut, but until we have a house of our own, I'm not doing a bunch of landscaping and stuff where I need it. So I'm starting to look at some of my tools because I have a ton as a contractor, a former contractor, that I could let go and make a lot of good profit off of. But I will always keep, tools. I don't need 5 skill saws. 1 or 2 is good enough for me, but I am a carpenter. I will always be a carpenter, no matter if I resell or not. You can take the carpenter out of the game, but you can't take the game out of a carpenter, or vice versa. However that goes. But anyways, it's good to see y'all. Check out my new thumbnails. Yes, I'm slow at it, at getting into the game properly, but now I got it, and I did every one of my long form videos, and it was easy as could be. So now I'm educated. That's how I work. That's how the rad picker works. But thank you all if you've made it this far. Please like, share, and follow. Comment below. I love to get comments. I appreciate all of you that support me, look out for me, keep me going. I love y'all, mean it. So stay positive, stay picking, stay rad, and get some bangers.